I was asked to kind of take you through what we think is next for VR. And so I work on the marketing side, so I'm not a techie. Half of the things that you've been hearing about, I don't understand them. So I'll talk about VR more from a marketing standpoint. And so before getting into kind of what's next, I want to make sure that my clicker is working. There you go. I wanted to look back to 2016, right? And what we said about 2016. And so I wanted to share with you a quick video, kind of sets the ambition that we had for 2016. And this is a video that we made when we announced our partnership with Vice and Viceland, and how we want to kind of look at a different way to approach documentary, journalism, call it what you want, but really how we report on issues. And so I'll play the video. You're hearing the music, you're not hearing the voice, the speakers. So basically what they're trying to say is it's really everything that VR can do. And what VR can do is get you into the places that you can't get to. It can help you touch the things that you cannot touch. You can really feel the texture of things, the places that you're going to, the issues and the tension when you're in the middle of those demonstrations. And that's what VR is, and that's what we want to convey and create as an experience and provide users and consumers. And so 2016, the question is obviously, so was 2016 the year of VR? And some people will say, with no doubt, it's been the year of VR. And others are a little bit more skeptical. So just 2 days ago, a friend of mine was telling me how surprised or kind of disappointed he was because he felt like VR was going to be the #1 gift for Christmas. Everyone will get a VR headset in a way or another and be into VR. And so that's probably true, maybe not. That's probably his perception. What's for real is that Best Buy and Amazon said that out of all the wearables, because we fall under the wearables category, VR headsets were the #1 selling product, right? And so from that perspective, yes, 2016 was a great year. Now, what for sure also is that we saw really great attempts to create content and experiences and a lot of trials. So I'll share with you a couple of them, things that we've done, things that others have done, but just to give you a flavor of what we think we saw in 2016. So this is what we started kind of the year for us. 2016 was a partnership with Six Flags, and it's basically how VR helps an industry kind of renew its own business. So when you think about a roller coaster, that's a $25 million investment. And so you do it once, and then you hope that it's going to last for 20 years. But with VR, that $25 million investment feels new every season. Every 6 months, there's a new experience. It doesn't matter what the roller coaster looks anymore. And so that's how industries are trying to reinvent themselves using VR. We also saw a lot of blockbusters getting into VR. Now, obviously, it's not trying to replace what we see in 2D in big cinemas, etc. But the beauty of VR is that it's creating an opportunity to extend your IP, to create additional equity around your IP. And so this is a partnership we did with the Suicide Squad movie, and it was great. And to be honest, the experience we created was one of the shooting scenes. There was only shooting in that movie anyway. But one of them was probably 3 or 4 minutes where you were the head of this actress. And to be honest, after 30 seconds, I wanted to throw up because it's really intense. But it was a way for us to test and try things because we all go spontaneously saying, well, VR can give me that 360 exposure. I want to be one of the characters. I want to be in the middle of it. Now, the reality is that sometimes it is not right for VR, or either the technology, the hardware is not right for it, or the software, it doesn't matter. It was a great attempt. I don't think it was the best experience, but we learned from it. And so that's the kind of attempt that we saw in 2016. Another one at HTC, obviously this is the perfect example of what you can do with VR, taking you to places you would never go to, you couldn't go to, right? And giving you that feel of you're there, you're feeling, you're touching that big blue well. Another example is this. Now there are places where you want to go to when you can't Mars under the water. There are places where you don't want to go, right? You don't want to go to Aleppo in Syria, not because it's not nice. It used to be very, very nice, just because it's dangerous. But through VR, through 360, you can experience the heart of what that experience is. And this was in partnership with Vice, and we managed to get people to experience and understand what was the situation on the field. And this is one of the great applications of, I think, VR. Okay. Here's another one, and this is our partnership with the New York Times, and we're very, very proud of this because we're literally, I mean, New York Times is set to reinvent journalism and reinvent the way we basically bring news and information to people. And so we've equipped all their journalists on the field with 360 cameras, and we're basically providing what we call 360 daily. So every day you have a piece of content on the news, on whatever is happening around the world. And this has been really looking at this trajectory in terms of consumption, in terms of interest, and in terms of visibility. So again, things that the key here, or what we saw in 2016, is that there are instances where we're not actually applying VR to what 2D does very well. We're creating experiences and situations that only VR or only 360 can bring to life. So also, even more importantly, what we saw in 2016 is this, right? I mean, we started the year with probably 3 players on the market, and we ended the year with 6+ key players on the market. And this is very, very important. So in summary, you can argue that 2016, we built awareness. Our numbers say we have about 25% awareness around VR among large population, 1871. We've created or triggered desire, demand for it. There's up to 50% purchase intent for VR headsets. M&A investment went through the roof, so and numbers vary from source to another, but 2015 you had about $500 million invested. 2016 you had $2.5 billion invested in VR and 360 platforms, technologies, and startups. And just Samsung alone announced last week at CES that we have about 5 million headsets in the market today. So when you look at a brand new category, arguably 18 months old category, having this type of metrics already existing, interest, awareness, desire, and purchase in the market is a good sign for the future of VR. So that's on the good side for 2016, but the question is, did we really see born for VR content? For some of it, yes. I think the New York Times at 360 Daily is born for VR, but a lot of attempts were really about how do we bring VR to 2D experience. The other thing that's important to us, and again, my background is marketing, has nothing to do with VR. And the way I look at it is that whether you're trying to sell VR headset or a soda or a tissue, it's the same tools to make it happen. And so the question is, have we really established a VR category in the market for people to think about it? Is there a VR category on Amazon? Not yet. And more importantly, did we really drive adoption of 360? I think we're all, and this kind of industry and mainly the brands around it, jump too fast ahead and going to VR without thinking about 360. And if we want to really establish a category around VR and 360, we need to start with 360. We need to create that habit of, I can look at things in 360 degrees. And it sounds obvious for this crowd, obviously, but the reality is that we should replace every single camera that is not on your phone with a 360 camera. Because why would I limit myself to whatever is that angle when I can have 360? And the moment we will do that, then we can get people to now immerse yourself in VR. And I think that's what we need to work on and build in 2017 is create adoption for 360. And then the last point is, did we create a habit? Again, whether you're marketing a headset, tissue, or a soda, or a candy bar, you'll win if you create a habit. If you create a behavior of, I gotta pick it up again and again, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, etc., etc. So I don't think we're there yet in 2016. One thing I guess we'll all agree, no matter how we touch VR in our business, whether it's from a marketing perspective, I love that 360 camera, whether it's marketing, tech, developers, etc., is this. Our job, if we want VR to exist and be in this room 3 years, 5 years with Jeff from now, is closing the gap between hype and the adoption. And what do we need to do to get there? We all use probably the same example, 3D. 3D was fantastic. Everybody got excited about 3D. Every single TV set, including Samsung TVs, were 3D ready, etc. I don't know how many people in this room, although I won't do the test because you're a special room, how many people have 3D glasses at home and are watching 3D content on a regular basis? None, I guess, none in the general public. So if we don't want VR to become 3D, this is, I guess, our job. So what will 2017 look like? I have no idea, to be honest. I'll share with you a couple of broad macro trends that we see bubbling up. It might sound all obvious to you, but that's what we want to do. But beyond that, I want to share with you our belief in VR. The first thing I think, again, we'll see is more and more content that drives a habit. Now, of course, one-offs, super productions, beautiful experiences will happen, and they will be even better, and there will be even more VR born. But the reality is that, again, if we want to establish a category, we need to create a habit. And so I want to play you this video, and good news that it doesn't have any sound, so it's going to be an easy one. Or not. Here you go. And so the quality is not great. I apologize for that. But this is, again, a 360 daily that was posted on January 1st by the New York Times. And what's interesting about this video, 360 video, is that it got about 4.5 million views in 24 hours. Everything else that we did before was between 100 to 200,000 views, and this one all of a sudden had 4.5 million. And the reality is that something is happening, I think, from this perspective. We're creating that behavior, we're creating that behavioral change, and people are getting more and more the benefit of 360. Now, not everything works perfectly. So we've done attempts where there's a little bit of text and understanding, and you need to understand the background of that video before you watch it. That didn't work. Simple, great value for a user works perfectly. This is one of the best ways to start your year, see how it looked like, summarize around the world. Great, straightforward, worked perfectly, and was shared thousands and thousands of times. So one trend is content that creates habit. The other one is VR is going to become social, if I can get to it. Here we go. Now, again, obvious for everybody. We've seen a lot of apps out there getting into the social space, getting you to interact with people, talking to people. But honestly, I think we're all aligned that with the fact that if Oculus, if Facebook gets behind it, that's a game changer. And I think this is what's going to make 2017 different and unique, is the social side of VR and how we're going to get into it. I can't share with you numbers, but all I can tell you is that the number of people on the Gear VR that have more than one friend is very, very, very small. And so if you can't make it social, it's not going to live. And so this is, for me, the future. Another example with VTime, I think avatars will play a tremendous role, because that's how you're going to personalize yourself, create your own presence. We've all lived through Second Life and things like that. I think it's amazing what you can do with avatars now in VR, and that's going to solve and create a lot of use cases. So VR becoming social is key. The other one that we shouldn't underestimate is social gaming. Yes, gaming is big in VR, and that's going to continue to be big, but social gaming, if one of you cracks the Candy Crush of VR tomorrow, that's a game changer. And that's what, going along with the social side of VR, will make VR a must-go, a must-acquire headset or experience. Yeah, I talk about headset because that's how I get paid. The last one, I think, again, the last one is that enterprise is finally getting it. I think enterprise is going to be really the fuel to the engine of VR. The dollars will come from enterprise to get to creators like yourself to create more VR experiences. This is an example of L'Oreal using 8i. I don't know if you know that company. It's, how do they call themselves? Volumetric human capture. So basically creating holograms of anything that can go in any space. And so they're using 8i technology to train all their hairstylists, for example. So that's an example from L'Oreal. But you gotta think about travel, you gotta think about education, you gotta think about real estate, right? I mean, I've been through that because I moved from here, so Atlanta used to be my hometown, to New York. And so I've been through the pain of getting from, here you can afford a house, not in New York. So getting from a house to an apartment, not knowing whether my furniture can fit, buying new furniture. We all went through the pain of where should I go in Mexico? We all want to go to Mexico, which hotel, which resort. All of that is opportunities for VR 360 to give you the best example. If I can take you right now to the beach in Playa del Carmen and tell you this is what the beach looks like, this is your room, this is a restaurant, and you can click on a button and book, I think we'll see a lot of business happening there. Same thing with interior design. Can I get all those furnitures set in my apartment and see whether they fit or not? If they fit, then I'll buy them. So all those use cases are yet to happen and see them in the market. And I think that's where the dollars and the fuel for the engine of VR will come from. And so these are 4 or 5 macro trends, and again, might not be news to you, but what I really wanted to share with you is really kind of our belief, and it's almost our manifesto for VR. So I'm going to read it, and you can read it with me, so you can either choose the French accent or read it your way, but this is really what we think about VR. And so, again, we don't know what's going to happen in 2017 and how VR will evolve, but what we believe in is that virtual reality is the start of a shared consciousness, the foundation of a democratized experience, and the birth of communication beyond language. There's a lot of people between me and Okay. Sorry, that was my closing. Okay, I'll let you, you know what? I'll let you read it proudly.
Thank you. Thank you, Bachir.